Crossroads Media.
The moral of the story here that I'm trying to bring up is Ramona Shelburne, when she says this is Rich Paul, Clutch Sports, Ben Simmons trying to tell people something, and the fact that they look horrible. Ben Simmons looks worse, so they wanted it to kind of cool it down and try and tone it down maybe a little bit on where everything's at, and they only made it worse. He's making up stuff that doesn't even make any sense. No one can sit there and rationalize what the hell is going on in his brain when you hear what is stated. So let's just run through all these highlighted pieces. We have anytime hotline calls to get to as well. So it's going to be fun. Frustrating, definitely frustrating, but it's going to be fun. And where we begin here is a piece where it says, so much time has passed that it's easy to forget what started this standoff in the first place. 14 months ago, there were trade discussions with Houston about swapping Simmons for then Rocket star James Harden. Then there was his playoff meltdown in Game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks in June, and the critical post-game comments from Coach Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid. There's more. If anyone needs a full accounting, past slights that have been magnified with the passing time. According to sources close to Ben Simmons, he's upset that Joel Embiid seemed to blame him for last season's playoff loss when Simmons did not blame Embiid for Embiid's poor showing in the playoffs against Toronto Raptors in 2019. What? You mean when Joel Embiid was the entire team, plus minus wise, when he left the floor, they turned into an absolute disaster. They were plus 90 with him there, and they were minus 60. He was minus 16, Ben Simmons was. You're going to call out Joel and say he's the reason without acknowledging your monster flaws and your piss poor performance too? You want to know why that there were some shot clock violations with Jimmy Butler and everyone poured all their frustration right towards Brett Brown? And I'm not saying that he didn't have anything to do with it. I'm telling you that when you, Ben Simmons, suck so much at your job and you can't shoot a basketball as a point guard in this league, and then you force Jimmy Butler to have to play isolation ball 5-on-4 in the postseason in the half-court set, what do you think the result is going to be? And you don't think that Joel Embiid got a ton of heat? He had the stomach problems, and everyone was making fun of him for that. He was a meme because he was crying as he was leaving the floor and crying to his girlfriend. He was getting mocked for months and months, national media, saying, how dare you get seen and caught crying in your girlfriend's eyes? Oh, you're horrible. I mean, he was getting annihilated. The difference is he looked at that moment and said, that will not define me. And we just saw something similar happen in the NFC Championship game when the 49ers had a chance to win and there was an interception drop. Tart had an interception right into his hands. And after the game, he said, I let everybody down. I'm so upset with myself. He went on this whole tweet and he said that this won't define me. I will become better from this. That's the difference. Don't think this is the problem. I wasn't good enough, but neither was him. Joel wasn't good enough either. That is a problem if that's the way that you think this works. Let's use my job as an example, right? Let's say I do a radio show, and I'm co-hosting with somebody else. Doesn't even need to be a name. Random. Jim Smith. Me and Jim Smith are hosting a show on Sunday afternoon, and the show ends up not being good. Do you think I go, you know what? I didn't do a good job, but you sucked too. You sucked. You stunk. No, I go, damn, we could have been better. We could have had a better segment. We could have opened the show a little bit better. I got to acknowledge my flaws. You know, hey, maybe next time I'll do this. That's it. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone fails. We will criticize you failing in the moment. We will state what went wrong and talk about what needs to happen. For example, Jalen Hurts, he did some nice things, he did some poor things. You need to learn from all that information you gather, Jalen Hurts, and do everything you can to be the best version of Jalen Hurts. That's all we ask. That is all we ask. You're allowed to make mistakes. Now, we'll criticize it, we'll hash it out. But it doesn't get to a crazy level if you just are willing to take that and say, I gotta be better. I gotta be better! This guy's nuts. The fact that he's going to, criticize Joel's performance in 2019. I can't believe they said things about me when look what you did 2 years ago. That's irrelevant because he turned that into becoming an MVP conversation piece in back-to-back seasons. So what else is in here? He's frustrated that Doc Rivers didn't come to see him while he was training in LA. Simmons doesn't dispute that he didn't reply to Doc Rivers when he texted him and called him several times over the summer asking to see him. But in hindsight, Simmons feels Rivers and the Sixers could have done more, like show up at the gym where he was training. So let me get this straight. This guy was openly admitting, I'm not even responding to them. They don't mean enough for me. They don't mean enough to me. Like Doc Rivers, right? Say what you want about the all-bench lineup. Say what you want about his flaws in LA. Reality of the situation is, in the NBA world, this guy has a ton of respect, right? Right. And he's calling you, hey, Ben, and you're not answering. But then it's Doc Rivers' fault for not just randomly showing up and begging you, getting on his hands and knees saying, Ben, please come back. This is professional sports. You got to handle yourself like a man. And you're telling me that you can't do that? You can't acknowledge that no one in this level of anything in professions, like anything professional, whether you're an accountant, whether you're a plumber, whether you're an electrician, whether you're an athlete, no one's going to just sit there on their hands and knees and pray and just show up on hands and come back. I need you. No. Especially when you're not showing that you're willing to actually return and be there for this team.